I am very happy to see you here, making it to day 2. And yes, I will talk about the relationships today, about how you can link issues. And Raymond already gave a very big spoiler about our new feature that's going to come out. But today I'll talk more about the feature. And I think this will be very interesting for my colleagues here as well, because I am pretty much the only support team member having access to the new feature.
Ooh.
Right. Yes, this is me, Elita. I've been with eazyBI for around 1.5 years. Previously, I worked, like many of you, I've worked in big corporations, mainly with SAP system, lots of data migration. Also had the joy of leading a team for several years, but my passion is data. My passion is data analysis, and with the help of eazyBI, I have brought it to the next level. I do love running, so I loved the run today as well. It was amazing. And I do love the runs with my eazyBI colleagues especially. When thinking about the topic I wanted to talk about in eazyBI community days, I already knew, I think, last summer, that I want to talk about the issue links. This is one of the most top read topics in our community page. Like you already know, we have this new feature coming out soon. So today I want to talk about what issue links are, what are the directions of the relationships of issue links, because this is one of also the biggest struggle that we see coming in our support queue. I'm going to talk about how issue links look in Jira and how do we set them up in eazyBI. Some tips for analyzing the issue links, and I will finish with a bit of a few slides with building additional issue hierarchies, because this is quite connected with issue links as well. So let's start with issue links in Jira. This is one of the examples in my Jira, and for someone that is new to issue link functionality, this is a very nice feature Jira has that allows you to maybe structurize your work a little better. You can prioritize some tasks. You have a clear overview of your project. You can see some dependencies or blockers. And yeah, so this is one of the examples where you can see that one issue is linked with 3 other issues with 2 different link types. But if you look from another link's perspective, you'll see that it has a bit of a different relationship with the other issue. So what can we take from that? Relationship is a 2-way street. It is so with issue links as well. We have an outward link and an inward link. So let's take an example from life. I love running, and I know that many of you do too. Let's say our objective is to run a marathon. I haven't reached my objective yet. To do that, I need to train for a marathon. So my running a marathon is blocked by training for a marathon. And in Jira world, it is an inward kind of link. But when I trained for the marathon, it blocks me for running a marathon. And that's an outward link. So this is the key thing that you have to pay attention when you want to define the link relationship in eazyBI as well. yeah, what we've noticed in the support team that this is the main struggle that our users face when trying to import the issue links. I'm not going to talk too much about the directions. I will show more about that a little later. But one last thing that I do want to mention is that always check the settings in Jira, because they can be customized. But by default, there is a link, relates, which is the same, which is named the same way as an outward and inward link. And we would recommend to always import both directions in this case, because it is very difficult, unless you dig deeper into the issue, it's very difficult to say which link type is used in this case. All right, let's go into eazyBI then. If you've ever defined issue links in eazyBI, you probably are familiar with this screen. You would go to the advanced settings and you would define your link. And this is the highlighted part is the one that usually was the biggest struggle, because you had to define it manually. The links, the inward and outward links had to be defined manually. And this is where the biggest struggles our users would usually face. But now, well, not now, but soon, you will have an option to define the issue links at the account level. So it's not going to be the general settings, but it will be at the account level. And you will find your issue links, even the ones that you define at the general settings, you will find them here. And you can either edit them or you can add new links at the account level. So let's take a look what fields you would need to define. This would be the screen you would need to fill when you would define the new links. You have the internal name, which is like your custom field ID. Then you have your display name. That would be the one that you would see in eazyBI when you import the field. This is the inward link, and the best part is that this is a drop-down list. No need to write it manually. It's fetched from Jira, and you can select all your inward or outward links that you want to analyze. Then you have an issue type if you're looking for a specific issue. Issue type, of course, a dimension. Then you can select the multiple values, but then you don't have an option to update from the parent issue key, because you can only have one parent. So the parameter multiple values true will not work with that. And of course, this is a very good option to test, as Raymond mentioned yesterday, to test your setup, to make sure that what you are setting up is, and then you will have it returned. Your issue links will be returned. So in this case, I have 2 issue links found, and this is indeed what I expect, and I'm good to go. So you saw the settings of blocked and related issues, defined at the general settings. Now let's look at 2 scenarios where I will be editing the issue link set up at the advanced settings, and let's look at the example how I'm defining a new issue link. The most important thing to remember when you edit the existing issue link, unselect, if you have already imported it, unselect it, do the import kind of like to wipe away the information that's already there, because otherwise it can cause some discrepancies. So let's take a look. So you unselect it, then you import, and then I'm doing a bit of forwarding, so you don't need to look how it imports. And then you can go and proceed with editing the field. This is where you have an option to rename it, rewrite the links. So I'm going to be looking at related bugs, and I'm going to test my issue, and then it returns one link. And indeed, there is one bug that is linked with a relates to link. And you'll notice that I used the relates to both as inward and outward, because I don't have a very quick way to say which direction it is. So this is how it would look in eazyBI. You have issues in rows, issues in related bug dimension in rows, and this is where you see your relationship with the issues. Alternatively, you have an option to define a new link at the account level. So remember, this is not going to be applied to all your accounts, only the one you're importing. And in this case, I will be looking for all issues that are linked with is blocked by link. So I'm going to add a new issue link. I'm going to give the internal ID, like a custom field ID. I'm going to give it a name, my blocked by issues. Then the inward link is only the one that I'm going to fill. And I'm going to test my issue. And it returns one issue. And let's go to Jira. And indeed, there is one issue that is linked with a is blocked by link. Very simple, isn't it? Before I proceed with the creating a report, I wanted to introduce you with this training account that we have. It's a real treasure, and I'm not talking about the measures now. I'm talking about the formulas that you can find there, so that you don't need to write them from scratch. So in this training account, you could, for example, see a formula that is already written for hours spent on some linked issues. Like you could see a linked issue assignee, or maybe you want to find a formula to count your linked issues. You're probably wondering where you can find this training account. Why are we hiding it? We're not hiding it. The best way how to find it is that you go into your community, our community page, and you find a blog written by my colleague Garda, which is one of the top read blogs. And then at the end of the blog, you'll find a link to our account, our training account. And here you can see all the formulas where you can go and copy them and then use in your own report. So no need to invent the wheel. Now, let's take a look at some reports you might want to create. I'm not going to go into very complex solutions here because every case is unique. And if you do need any more complex reports, you can go ahead and ask us as well. But here is how eazyBI imports the links. So let's say I have my issues in rows, and when you import your links, you will automatically have properties imported as well. So I have my blocked issues and my related bugs as well. Not so many, but if I go and take a look at my at the issue that we're looking at as an example, you'll see they're both there. So this is a very, very easy, simple report that you can create just to have an overview of all the linked issues. Now here is another example where I'm going to only take a look at related bugs. Again, I'm selecting the property. And let's say I want to use that linked bugs count formula from the training account. So I'm going to copy the formula and paste it in my own report. But always keep in mind, because this has happened before as well, that you cannot just use the formula. You have to a little bit update it with your own dimension names. So in this case, I have to replace the formula, the dimension that's used in the training account. I have to use it with my own dimension that I have imported. Otherwise, of course, it's not going to recognize the data. So once I have created the formula and I have selected it, voila, here are my results. And there's another hack that you could potentially use. So I'm selecting issue status to see what is my issue status. But if you want to see your linked issue status, you can actually use the same formula, copy it, and do a bit of update in the formula where you are not referring to the issue dimension, but you are replacing your issue dimension with your linked issue dimension, and then you'll get the status. But in this case, I'm not getting the status. How interesting. That's because you have to add your dimension in rows to see the status. Once you've done that, then you'll also see the status. You can use the same approach for other properties, like if you want to find your linked issue assignee or other properties. The only thing is you have to remember that if you're checking the linked issues from other projects and you want to fetch these properties, you have to have the particular project imported as well. So by using issue links, you also have an option to build additional issue hierarchies. They are defined at the eazyBI advanced settings, and I will give you a little overview of what to pay attention to, because it is, again, a bit of I'm not going to say lots of too much information, but it can be a bit challenging. I remember when I learned about issue hierarchies, it was a bit overwhelming for me too. But let's see if I'm going to manage to pass the message to you. So let's imagine I have a new hierarchy I want to create. The top of the hierarchy is going to be a milestone, then feature, and then it's the standard hierarchy. So what you always need to remember, look at the child. Feature is the child of the top of my hierarchy, and epic is the child of the feature. But let's take a look at the feature. It is a child of my milestone, which in this case is also linked that way. The link type is child of the theme project, which is a ETQ12, and that is a milestone issue type. And that's when you build the issue hierarchies, this is what you should keep in mind. And this is the advanced settings. You don't need to rewrite this from here. We have this in our documentation page as well. Just update it according to your own issue types. But let's look at the first custom field I'm defining for the milestone so that I can use it later in the hierarchy. You see, it is a milestone. I'm defining a custom field milestone. But the way I'm using the link is, again, from the child's perspective, from my feature perspective. And I'm using the inward link as child of, even though I'm defining the milestone. You can, what is also very crucial to remember, that you can only use the issue type once. You cannot use when you're defining the feature custom field, for example, you can no longer use the issue type milestone. It can be once in the custom field. Did I forget to mention something? There can only be one parent. Yes, that's what I wanted to say. You cannot have like two parents. You can only have one parent. And if you forget, again, what kind of a link direction it is, here is a reminder. This is where your Jira issue link settings are. Is child of is my inward link. That's why I used it. So when we import both custom fields, the milestone and and the feature, and we have defined the hierarchy. eazyBI will create a new hierarchy, and then you can proceed creating your reports. So long story short, what you should keep in mind about defining your additional issue hierarchies, think about from the child's perspective. So that's what we strive for here in eazyBI, simple things easy, complex things possible. And like Raimons mentioned yesterday, that we are continuously gonna try making complex things a bit more simpler, and I really hope that you will be using our new feature and you'll find it useful and more user-friendly. And I hope you like this presentation. Do you have any questions? Good. So I said everything. Either you understood everything or you didn't.
Or maybe it was complicated. Oh, no, I have a question. Let's try catching this morning.
Hello. Hi.
Hello.
I have a question concerning the advanced settings.
Yeah.
We had to choose the outward, the inward link, as well as the issue type. Do we have to select the issue type, or is it free?
It's optional. It was just in my
perfect.
example, yeah. So it's well, you do have to have at least one link direction, either outward or inward, not necessarily both.
Mm-hmm.
But both is suggested if you use the same link direction, like relates to, because otherwise.
Okay.
It's difficult. You might be missing some issue links. That's what I've experienced from some of the use cases.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Elita. Oh, more questions?
Oh,
you can.
I'm sorry.
Try throwing that direction.
Yes, I just have a short question. You said that we can find them on the documentation.
The issue hierarchies, yes, and also issue links as well. I don't think we have yet about the new feature, the documentation page, but issue hierarchies is definitely, that's where I would advise you to go. And we have a blog post about additional issue hierarchies as well, where you can copy the whole code. It's just you'll need to adjust it according to your own hierarchy. With the issue types you're using.
Okay, thank you. That was just my question, because I think it's helpful to look at the code and could inspire of them.
Yeah. No need to write it yourself. All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.